We're hearing a lot about temporary foreign workers in the news, but who are they? A temporary worker is someone who comes to Canada for a limited period of time. It's a broad category that includes a number of subgroups, like international students and people in the country on humanitarian work visas. But when we're talking about Canada's temporary foreign worker program, that's a specific category of workers. TFWs are hired when an employer is unable to find a Canadian or a permanent resident to fill a job, and the worker is only allowed to be employed between 1 and 3 years. The Temporary Foreign Worker, or TFW program, began in 1973 as a way to get high-skilled labor into the country, but it's gone through a number of changes in the nearly 50 years since the program first began. First, in 1992, it was expanded to include live-in caregivers. Then, in 2002, it changed again to allow low-skilled workers to enter the country. The number of TFWs grew in size until 2014, when the federal government imposed some reforms. After those reforms, the number of TFWs decreased in the country for a period of 2 years, but began increasing again in 2017. The other change that happened in 2014 was splitting the program into 2 branches, the Temporary Foreign Worker Program and the International Mobility Program, or IMP. So what's the difference between the TFW program, which we hear a lot about, and the lesser-known IMP? Let's start with temporary foreign workers. Employers wanting to bring in a TFW have to fill out a Labor Market Impact Assessment application, or an LMIA. Yeah, another acronym. And employers have to prove that they tried to find a Canadian or permanent resident to do the job. It's a lot of work to fill in one of these forms, and it involves very specific steps to follow. Businesses that want to bring in a TFW also have to pay about a $1,000 processing fee. And there's currently a 10% cap on the number of TFWs you can have at a specific work location. That changes for some industries like construction, food manufacturing, hospitals, nursing, or in-home childcare. There, the cap is 20%. Now, let's look at the International Mobility Program. The IMP has fewer rules. It doesn't require an LMIA, so you don't have to prove you can't find a Canadian or permanent resident to do a job. And it has a lower processing fee. So who are these workers in the IMP? The program can include workers like intercompany transfers. So say that you have a marketing director in London that you want to bring in from your international office. And permits for workers under international agreements like CUSMA or the EU trade agreement. So that's the story of the TFW program. In 2024, TFWs made up only 12% of the close to 1.6 million temporary residents admitted into Canada. IMP workers made up 45%, and international students made up 32%.